Hello, everyone. Transmitting live from Lockdown City, Los Angeles, or near Los Angeles. This is Tech Down Over, and it's over. It's over. You'll never have it again. Anyway, I'm joined today by Geoff Blanchard, coming to us from the land of Lockdown South. It's Australia. How are you doing, Geoff?
Thank you. Not quite as locked down as you as yet, but
now
sure
we're not too bad where we are, but in some places in LA, they're notorious. So we're doing okay considering, and we can still work, to a point. But and joining us today is also Harold Muliati. Here we go. And we are back, and we decided before the beginning of the show that while people are stealing toilet tissues, somebody should raid Rode microphones, or maybe even Canon. You want gear? Forget the toilet tissue. Buy gear. Oh, actually, get gear. Steal gear. Well, don't steal it, but borrow it. You can give it back later if you're alive. It's an interesting world we live in.
Yes, but also as well, like they're saying, with the delaying the Olympics, that would put a big dent in people, especially things like Canon, because Canon traditionally sells hundreds of millions of cameras because of the Olympics, just for the officials as well.
I know.
And then everybody going to it, and they'll see somebody doing a review on the Olympics about this. They do sell. It's one of those ones that depends so much on. So, but
the Canon 1DX just couldn't. But my wife Leslie ordered from China a Hello Kitty phone case.
Oh, okay.
And it's been held up for 2 months in customs. She got it today.
Oh.
And the people from China said, "We give you money back," and they did. So now she's going to send them the money back again. But I thought it was interesting because it was held in customs, and the people just apologized and sent her the money back. But it actually came through. The minute they opened up, a week later, we get Hello Kitty. The world is getting back to normal. That's all I could say.
Well, I've always said when we buy things from overseas and the people say about buying things on the internet, I've bought a few things from China, from these cheap sites, and they do quite well. Yeah. And the people say, "Oh, why don't you buy locally?" So I did one once. I wanted a green screen, so they had the things in on the China one, and I thought, it was comparable price to the ones in Australia. So I thought, I'll order the Australian one. Okay, so I ordered that. 4 weeks later, still never heard anything. So emailed. 4 weeks. Said,
they were waiting for Chinese to ship it to them, right?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Okay. And so what they did out of there, though, because there was still, I'd ordered a nice, 3 foot by 6 foot green screen thing, and so they didn't say, "Oh, sorry." So then I got it a week later, but I got a 20 foot by 30 foot. So, we've just to make up for the delay. I thought, what am I doing? It's in the cupboard because it's 20 foot by 30. What am I going to do with it?
You see,
also, then they sent my original one the next week later.
Oh,
it took so long that it just grew up in that time.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said, they sent the correct one the following week.
Yeah, so I had the right, but no extra charge, but I still think locally we've got the Chinese do such a good job at that, whereas the Chinese ones, they say it's going to be 10 days, and it is, and or whatever. And quite often they do and it's usually the same thing that you're ordering locally, but that's what gets me when people say they can't do business there, because the local people could have ordered from this place, bought it at cheaper price than me, and I will buy always locally, even if it's 1.5 times dearer, but if it's local, I'll get it. But sometimes, like I saw, there was a Canon, the timer thing that says to do time lapse on it. And yeah, they had one of that, and Canon.
What is
that
was called? That has a special name.
Intervalometer or something. I forget.
Intervalometer. Yeah.
But they had one here in the shop that was $249.
Wow.
Yeah. It said Canon on it. And I could buy one from the Chinese site for $23.
Yeah, and it's just as good.
It was the same one. It just didn't have Canon. But I thought, why can't these local businesses buy 50 of them and sell them for $60.
Right,
And I would buy it from them.
Yep.
They'd still make over 100% profit, but
Yep.
then they don't. And then I go into a shop, and even most of the shops don't even have the $249 version. And they wonder why we're always buying offline.
Well, that's because in
online.
today's day and age, a lot of the cameras have it built in. You can, like
Well,
the
that is-
GH5 has it built in. And so you can do time lapse right with it, and it's really cool.
Well, I mean, the thing with the intervalometer is usually they're remote too, so you can do it across the room
Well,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But you can do
And
that through your
also
phone now.
Yeah,
but it's not quite
They
the
work
same. And
okay,
usually
but-
that one has they usually have a shutter release button on it as well, so you
Yeah.
can do that. People say, oh, you can get remote ones, but it's still not the same as a connected one to have yes go to take it straight away, whereas cordless one, yes, it does, but it's always that fraction of a delay on that. But I was just saying that's the sort of thing with all these little accessories you can get. But I must admit, though, with all the trouble we're having lately with lockdowns and that I am ordering a few bit more, even Amazon Australia, but little things so I don't have to go into the shops. Like I wanted a new keyboard, so I ordered one of them.
Oh, did you
and
get
got
that ASIO?
I actually got a DAS keyboard because there was
What's it called?
DAS keyboard.
Oh, the DAS keyboard. The German
DAS.
one, right?
Well, it's a German name, but they're made in Texas. They're a Texas.
I thought it was German. Okay, interesting.
No, I think it's a German name. I don't think it's got anything to do with Germany, but it's the keyboard. But it's
That's
DAS
the Mac keyboard.
Yeah, but I actually got the IBM one because it's pretty much the same as the Mac because I'm using it for work as well. So I thought I could put up with the slight difference. But it's you can get ones with what they call the brown keys or the blue keys.
Oh yeah, the brown mechanism, the mechanical.
The switches,
brown.
The switches.
And
yeah.
because the blue ones, the mechanism, the exact, but it makes that real big loud click, click, click. And I thought, well, if I get that and I take that into the office, it's going to really annoy
What does the
people.
ASIO have? Is it? I thought it was red. Is it red or blue? I don't remember.
I can't remember what that is, but the ASIO was about $180 or something here, and the DAS keyboard was $249.
$249 was more.
It was more, but I thought I just like because it weighs a ton. I tell you,
Yeah,
feel like
I like that. Yeah,
I don't think there's one
USB.
called red. There are the cherry switches. That might be it.
cherry. Yeah.
I think that's right for the ASIO.
But these one connects into the USB 3 port, and it has a hub of two USB connections on that, which is really good on that part. I just really love it. It's just I type so much more efficiently having that feedback back on the key.
And it's full size. It's full size,
It's
right?
full size, and people think, well,
how long did it take? How long did it take for you to receive it?
3 days.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
3 days. That's really good from, and that's what I said. I thought I want to know a nice gel pad for it, so I just ordered that as well because when we're in this time of trouble, I'd rather not go and talk to somebody and pick it. And really, let's face it, I'm looking around at a lot of things. I can't find stores that have a lot of those things that I want. And when you know what it is, I'll order it online. But I don't know of any shop I can go to here that I would find a DAS keyboard in. So
Yeah,
I
nobody
don't know.
inventories that stuff.
Usually
Nobody
not.
seems
No.
to. Yeah,
No.
but you just have to get it from online for that. But
So
unlike
are you looking
there,
at the? Are you looking at the new iPad with the OLED screen?
well, yes, I'd like that. But as I said, with most major purchases, I'm on hold until all this
Yeah.
is over. So we
Yeah,
know
so are
whether
we.
we've got money coming in next week. But when that's all over, I'm actually even wanting to upgrade one of my TVs up, because I've had one of the LGs, not the OLED, but I've had that nearly 7 years, and I thought,
Well, are you
my
going to get
goodness.
another OLED?
I was going to put the OLED that I've got downstairs, the big one, I'll put that upstairs and get a new one. And I was thinking of looking at the Sony, I think it was the G9, I think it's their OLED.
So that's what we have. I forgot the number. It's a G something. It's not OLED, but it looks beautiful. I have the OLED 55-inch, but and I love it. But the Sony just has richer colors. It just
Well,
to
that's
me
what
it
they're
looks,
saying.
and it looks almost like OLED. But it has, I think it has 12 areas, 12 dimmable regions, and as a result, you get no bleed anywhere. It's just almost perfect, and they're beautiful. They're probably about the same price as OLEDs, frankly. But Sony makes a really nice TV with that. And we watch no TV, so I don't know why the hell we got one, but we rarely watch TV. So, but when we do watch, it looks good.
And that's what they were saying with these TVs, that the quality is just something exceptional. Like their OLEDs, there's the 65-inch, and I think even here they go for about $3,200 that one. But you go to the 77-inch, and it jumps to nearly $10,000. So such a little. Ooh. And I thought, wait till that comes, because I've got a 65-inch. I thought I'd like to go to the next.
We bought the 75-inch Sony, and it was at that time about $3,000. That was the most expensive TV we ever got, and I think we're still paying it off. I'm not sure, but it was on sale, and it was good. I think it's normally like $3,500. It's gone down now. It's cheaper. But it's good. The OLEDs cost more because I guess the failure rate as they're building them is higher. So they charge more. It takes longer to get one good OLED TV, which is funny because you can make millions of iPads and phones with OLED, but they're smaller. The minute you go to large, it's all of a sudden it's a lot more expensive.
One thing I like with the Sony, with their new TVs as well, is like they all go, they don't concentrate too much on the sound, because most people who want a decent sound will put a sound bar or through their hi-fi system. And with the Sony ones, they have all their speakers behind the screen, so you're getting the sound straight out from your screen. But what you can also do with that, you can make the TV act as your center speaker. So when in your system, so you put that on, so you can actually still use those good speakers that are behind. And he said, if you feel the screen, you'll feel the screen vibrate.
Interesting.
So the sound is actually coming out where they're speaking from, not down the bottom or at the side. So it said it's quite good, but I wouldn't mind investing in one of them, and then I've got somebody else who's would be keen to take my 7-year-old one, because they're looking at upgrading. I said, well, if you don't mind an old one, this is working fine with smart TV. Yeah. And then I can put my other one from downstairs upstairs and justify that. But wait until we're all out of lockdown, and then the economy starts on again. So hopefully we should be out of it. Hopefully this time, in a few months' time, we can say we're at the other end of it. But let's hope.
And in the meantime, if you have a RODECASTER, the RelateCaster Pro, which is kind of like a mini recording studio, right in your, it's like a foot square, and it's really nice. They have had a major update to the firmware, and they've added a lot of new functionality and features. So if you have it, take a look at that, upgrade it, or if you want to buy a new one, they come with that upgrade built in, and it makes it just a little bit more powerful. I don't know, did you have a list of some of the things they've added?
Well, it's just called the RODECASTER firmware version 2.0, and it's the stuff they added. They kind of listed a lot of things that they've been adding in some of the previous firmware updates too. But they added, for example, before you couldn't transfer files just by directly connecting the RODECASTER with a USB to your computer, and so they've added that functionality. I mean, before it wasn't that hard. You just take out the card, put it in a card reader. But you can do that now. They added on the RODECASTER. It has a little display on the RODECASTER itself, and now that'll show you, because it's got that sound effects pad on the right side there. And before you couldn't quite tell, like it didn't tell you how far along the sounds were playing, so now it'll actually have an indicator of how long through the sound it is and all that sort of thing. And
so because because sometimes if you might have a 30-second grab of something, and so at least it's halfway through, whereas if it's not just a quick sound,
or like a 3-minute song or something like that for musical bed. And they added some other functionality related to monitoring, like now you can disable the volume control knob for your monitor in case you just want to always have it at line level and control it somewhere other along the line. That way you can do that and not risk accidentally bumping that knob and that sort of thing.
Oh, that's such a good little unit for. Well, as I said, it's little, but it gives you all that you want. When I was looking for I've got the Yamaha mixer thing here. I was looking at that, but for the price for what it is here, it's about $1,000, I think here. with that, which makes it just a bit too expensive. But I would have loved to have got that. The only thing I wish they'd done on that was in that memory card to just put a full size one, because it's the macro, isn't it?
Right.
It's the micro.
It's a micro. Yep.
Why on a thing that's not like a little tiny thing that you put in your pocket? It's big enough.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made. And so you have to these ones, and you. It's not about the sizing of the memory. It's just I'm always taking out and you drop them, and where on earth's that little card? And you have to put it in the adapter usually, because I've got one that's got those. I don't know about you, but I've got a card reader that has the little micro one, and they never seem to go in there properly. You put them in the adapter.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Anyway, because they always seem to work. So
Yeah.
And I'm always worried I'm going to snap those little things. But
well, that's right. Yeah. And then you say, what size is it? And then you get your magnifying glass out. Oh, that's the 32. That's the 32. Oh, I want the 64.
They also added another interesting thing that they put in is now on the host, for the host microphone, which they would be channel 1 or something, you can talk to people who are calling in and connected through the Bluetooth or the 3.5 TRRS phone jack, and not have it go through in the main mix, so you can the host can tell people stuff without being recorded.
I saw that. So Rick could be talking while you're talking to me, said, "Oh, I'm putting you on next. Don't say this," or something like that. And then while Rick's still talking, then you can put them on. So that's a really good feature then. But as I said, for such a little unit, it doesn't take up much room, so you can take it anywhere with you.
Yeah, it's not very heavy. It does require a power supply, so there's no battery. You can't put batteries in it, but it's easy to find power mostly anywhere. And you could also I don't think you can put a USB device and power it. I don't think so. But that would be nice. They were talking about maybe doing an upgrade later for that, but no, we don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, another thing they added that's pretty nice is now they added functionality to save shows, sort of like we do here in vMix, but basically just it saves all your settings to a show file, and then through the RODECASTER app you can switch to a different show, so that if you have your RODECASTER set a certain way for one show, then you can load it.
Not only that, it would also reprogram your dial pads, or your pads, so you could put different music for every show.
Yeah. But that's great as well. You've got that sort of audio backup as well. So like if you're doing a show like this one, you've got everything recording properly. But if you have something where your audio goes a bit funny, well, you've got that. Just hit record on that and just dub that over it. So
for example, if you look at that device, if you have, let's say, vMix or Wirecast, all you need is that device to be all of your microphones. It could literally bring in all the microphones, and that would be your sound mixer of sorts, and that goes right into vMix or Telestream's Wirecast, which also has their own built-in mixer. But you could easily connect. If you have a live show with people in studio with you, it's easy to put 2 to 4 people on. It has 4 mic inputs. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, it has 4 XLRs, and it has a 3.5, and it has a Bluetooth, as a USB.
Yep.
So not in this last firmware update, but previously they did add, because when this thing came out, one of the biggest criticisms of it was that compared to a more full-featured mixers, it didn't have multi-track recording, but they actually added multi-track recording in the previous firmware update,
which is pretty cool. And what is it, $5.99, I think?
Oh,
$5.99.
let me see what they
I think that sounds about right, because the way our dollar is, that makes it about $1,000 Australian, because one Australian dollar.
Yeah, $5.99. That is official.
One Australian dollar gets us 55 cents at the moment. So that's not. Yeah, which is quite annoying, really, because how much do you say you're doing it for there?
$5.99.
$5.99, and it's made in Australia. We're probably made.
That's
in China.
what I said. It's made in Australia.
No,
so
I think it's probably made in China. I bet you.
Or else you're either paying too much for it. I don't know, because I'll tell you, if you're paying for, well, how come we can't get it cheaper? I've still never figured that out.
No, we've talked a lot about microphones in the past, and we've done lots of reviews.
I
would say this is still one of the best. If you're looking for a good video microphone, or let's say broadcast microphone, voiceover microphone, this is about $500. Oh no, this one was, I think, $300. $300 for this. This is the Sennheiser MK4. There is an MK8, but it doesn't really buy you much. The MK4, it's a gorgeous looking microphone. It comes with this little shock mount, and it just does a great job with audio. I'm not on it right now, but this thing does a beautiful job. Now, if you want an ear set mic like this, and you can see it just goes over the ear. This is the Sennheiser. I'm sorry. This is the Countryman E6. This is also a great mic. It's got good dynamics. It sounds good. It's comfortable. You can wear this for a long time, and it doesn't really get you tired. And I can't do that with my ear set on. Here we go. That's about how big it is. That's it. It's not much. If you're looking for something like that, this one runs you about less than $600. But you're getting a very good top of the line mic with this. There are alternatives that are really good. I had one of them, but it died. Geoff, I think, still has his. And what was that? The G?
HS9.
HS9. The Headset 9. HS9.
Headset 9.
It's very similar to it has the same dynamics, and it only costs under $200.
Yeah, I think it was about $140 or something. It was very cheap at the time. It was that cheap, I think, and that was in my money. So,
but I'm not sure if they're making them anymore. I don't see it advertised anymore on anywhere, so I'm not sure. But it was a really good mic for the money.
Really good for that, because usually if you want anything better than that, well, you won't be going for one of those mics, because most of them that do the job because it's close by. If you want better sound and deeper, you need a bigger mic anyway. So you go for like one of these. I've got the Rode NT. What's it? NT2G? Is it? That's
Oh, you've got the NT. Wait, you're talking about the
boom. Is it the NT?
Shotgun?
That's a shotgun, right? That's a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's NTG2. Yep, NTG2.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm using at the moment. So.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's funny. Somebody debunked Rode. It's on YouTube somewhere. They did an analysis of the Video Mic Pro, this mic, that mic, the NTG2, the NTG4, and they're all exactly the same capsule. It looks like the same. If you take out the length of it, they're all the same exact size. And you go, Rode's smart. They sell 5 different models, all with the same capsule with different prices. Not too much change. And they sound about the same. It's interesting.
But even then, it's very hard with microphones to... it is very hard, because you can get all these different microphones, and a lot of them sound the same. Yeah. But it's all depends on the person who's speaking into them. Oh, yeah. The equipment they're doing it on, and what you like. Because yes, sometimes different people hear different things, but a lot of the times when you listen, and when you're listening through your normal speakers, you can't hear any difference. No. Then you put your headphones on and have it really pay it. You can hear different, but it's a bit like TV sets. You can have them, the $6,000 for $3,000 and a $10,000 one. But when you said, I can't see any difference, but you put them next to, you can see it, but is it worth that big a difference?
Yeah, and to some people, maybe.
Certainly say me and you, who might say, that's a big difference, I like that, but in the most part, and they were saying on one of the things, it said, put it this way, it said you get this cheap $2 microphone. He said, give somebody a $40 microphone. It's the best thing ever. He said, well, it would be, because from their rubbish camera quality thing, and then you give them a $50 mic. Yeah, that's fantastic. And as they said, but that's the same thing, and we found that between a $300 one, that's fantastic sound. I know. But you buy a $1,000 one, you hear this, not the sound, but he said it knocks back some of the noise. Yes, like that. The Sennheiser,
the dynamics are a little bit different sometimes.
It just works so much better, but it's worth the money. But in theory, I suppose the sound might.
I had a guy call me up once, and he goes, I want to be a voiceover guy, and what mic do I use? I go, it depends. Depends on how it sounds with your voice. What have you tried? And he gives me like some $20 mic. I was like, well, that's probably not going to make you sound that good. So he sends me a voice recording, and I was like, and he goes, what do you think? I went, well, and I was trying to be nice, but I said, maybe you should try some other mics, because this one's not flattering to your voice, But the real problem he had is his voice sucked. It was just sounded awful. So, I didn't want to say your voice sounds ugly. It's awful. It's a really lousy voice. So I just said, try a different mic. Maybe it'll sound better. Because you never know. My friend Ronaldo, Ronaldo, he originally sent me a whole mess of voiceover samples where he was doing like simulation tutorials. And I said, you have a nice timbre to your voice, but your voice doesn't sound that good for this kind of work. But in the other thing you sent where you were reading a story or telling a story, man, that was totally 100% different. Totally different. So it doesn't really matter in your case which mic it was as to how you said it, how you told that story. And that's the same for all of us. We may be able to talk really well in a broadcast environment, and maybe we read badly. Or maybe we can sing, maybe we can't sing, maybe we can talk really loudly, maybe we can't. It just depends what you like to do, what you do well, and what the mic is built for. An all-purpose mic won't be as good as a more focused mic on, let's say, voice, if you're a voiceover talent. And those good ones are pretty expensive, but you do get what you pay for. So, but it just depends. If you have an untrained voice and your voice sucks and it's not good, I don't care if you have $1,000 mic or a $200 mic, you won't notice a difference.
Well, I would also say that in any sort of creative pursuit, the paramount thing, the most important thing is being able to know yourself when you suck. So like if you can't tell that you suck just by listening it to yourself, then you're kind of doomed.
And by the way, if you're like us and you hear yourself and say, well, we suck anyway, that's okay. You know what? More often than not, we're always trying to be better.
The important thing is
half the guys I know who do voiceover say, I got to get better at this, and they're great. Some of these guys are absolutely great, but they don't have the confidence. They have very good voices, but it's hard to get to like your voice. It takes time. With time and practice, you start liking your voice, and you start saying, I can do this. I can work on it. But it's all practice. Most people are not gifted with an incredibly great voice. It takes practice. You have to, like any tool, you have to learn how to use it.
Well, and also you need to be able to figure out where you suck the most so that you can, efficiently put your effort into practicing what's kind of, do the triage of what's the worst part.
Yeah, I recorded a little bit of voiceover last week for one of the commercials we put on our show. And I told Harold, oh my God, let's take that down. It sucked. I don't know what, I don't know if I was tired or what, but it was like, this show is sponsored by Relate Corporation. Digital learning, corporate video. I was like, oh God, take it down. It was awful. I was cutting I was just, I
mean,
when I heard it, I went, ah!
And again, I listened to this and I thought it was good, but
I hated it. I just went, it's absolutely awful. So I re-recorded it. I have to give it to Harold, but now it's, digital learning, corporate video, down, boom, not, It happens. It happens. Well, you have an off day, or you're not quite right. Your voice doesn't sound good, or you're just tired, and then you hear it later, and you go, "Oh God, that was awful." And then on the other hand, you can't critique yourself too much because nothing will ever get done.
Yeah. But the thing is, I always, with whatever I record, I always listen to it thoroughly. I don't just think, I'll only fix up the mistakes. I listen to it. Once it's all right, I go through and listen with the headphones, listen to every single thing, because sometimes you get so, like you said, you get lazy and you said, I mixed that word. I can't tell where one word's and I can't tell that's wrong. So you've got to redo it, and you've got to be critical. Say, oh no, that'll probably do. It might do, but then it gets worse the next time. But if you notice it, well, somebody else definitely will. I think so. If you can see that, but it's. I think
I once did a microphone. This is years. It was like 8 years ago. I did a microphone review, and I posted it up on the voiceover group on LinkedIn, and I thought it sounded good. Because I had never bothered listening to it on the headset. I was just listening to the speakers. It sounded good. One guy writes, yeah, it sounds good if you've got shit speakers, but if you listen to it on your headset, you sound like crap. Pull the knife out of the heart, and then you go, he's right. Ah! And then when you hear that, you go, oh, man, he's so right. Because hearing on a speaker is not the same as putting it on your headsets. Then you hear everything. everything you think you're not doing, you're doing. And that was a lesson. And it was just one of those, oh, he's right. It does sound awful. Ugh. I put it on my headset and just went, oh. And then you're just embarrassed for the crap you just put out. So you just go, you got to be a little careful sometimes.
The thing, it's like when you spell check your documents, you go through and through, same thing with your audio, listen to, but it's, it'll take me 20 minutes to do that 20 minutes. Yeah. Well, it will, but take that time. And once you're happy with it and you've done all your work with it, listen to it for the final time before you submit it, and look at the script that you're doing, because there's always things that the mind makes up words. If you're not, they'll put an and this and but in where it shouldn't even be. It makes sense to the script. It will still work, but you're saying something that people don't want you to say. When you've got a script, you've got to say it word for word. You can't make words up or take words out, no matter if the context is still the same. They want you to say that. And plus, sometimes things are copyrighted. And if you say it out of context, you're infringing somebody else's copyright if you say it in a different way. So you've got to be careful.
Even if you think you're correcting it, which sometimes you might be.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is you've got to, like what I do, if I think something's wrong in a script or whatever, and they've said, no, this is it, you record it that way. But while I'm doing it, I'll record the alternate with the way that I think it should be. Then if it's still at the same time, but they say, no, it is this, but they're the people wanting it. You do exactly how they want it. But if you think it's a bit funny, record another version of it so you've got it handy. The thing is, I find with audio recordings, you've got to do it all at the same time, because whenever you go back, it's very hard to match it. But I've still found I jot down the date, the time, the microphone I've done it. So if I've done this morning on the the Sennheiser 416, well, I definitely won't go and do a re-record of it at 4:00 in the afternoon. Yeah, because my voice will sound like a mouse. Because I've been speaking all day. You can't keep whereas in the morning, it's easy. If you haven't been talking, it's deeper. If I recorded it at 4:00 in the afternoon, well, don't record it in the morning. Sounds like a different person. It does. You've got to jot down these little things so you make sure you can re-record something a bit later.
Yep, that's true. Well, we are out of time. It goes fast.
It does when we're having fun. Yes.
Yeah, and we'll all be in lockdown tomorrow, so watch the show a couple of times if you're watching out there, because you have nothing better to do. And stay off of Netflix, because you're destroying the internet right now. And we'll see you next week.
Hey, and we're not by streaming. We're making it worse by streaming on the internet.
We are.
Hey, I tell you what, if we have total lockdown and everybody's out of work, we'll do a daily lockdown video or something.
Daily lockdown video. Yes. Hello, slave.
From California and Melbourne.
Yeah. Coming to you from the lockdown areas of California and Melbourne, Australia. Shut up, slaves.
The land of lockdown, or in internet parlance, the LOL.
Dvorak and Curry. Curry and Dvorak.
Dvorak, that's one of their grabs. Shut up, slave.
I used to have that. I got to get them again. They have all the sound files for free. Maybe next week we'll have some for the show.
They have some good ones. But the Hillary Clinton ones, I like all those ones that they do there.
Yeah, they do. I was at the airport once in Orlando, and it was huge lines to get through TSA. And there's one guy like 3 away from me going, "Shut up, slaves! Get in line!" and I looked at him, and he's like, I go, "You do realize you are a slave too?" Yeah. Okay. I was going. He just goes, "Shut up, slave!" And people are looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" I just looked at him. I knew he was a Curry guy. He had to be. He had to be listening. And I just look at him and go, "You do realize you are one too?" Yeah.
I never used to understand when they say hit them in the mouth. I didn't realize what that was until I used to listen to the show.
Yeah, and every one of those sound bites is on their app. I got to go back and get it. The No Agenda app. If you're watching the show and you want to have a lot of fun sound bites, the No Agenda app. That's from the No
Yeah.
Agenda show or No Agenda show
And even
app.
listen to the show and participate in that. That's good fun as well. So.
Yeah, I got to get back into that show. I haven't watched it.
And
I always miss
we'll
it.
put a link to the app in the description
great.
below
Yeah.
if you want to.
It's a great show, No Agenda. I am actually a knight of the No Agenda Roundtable.
Oh,
Most
okay.
people don't
So
know that. Gee, Geoff didn't know that.
I didn't know that. See,
Yeah,
well, we
Leslie
could have-
Leslie actually
you
paid
can.
$1,000 to make me a knight of the No Agenda Roundtable. And she was this,
Oh.
and when they did it, she goes, "The lady Leslie has donated this for Sir," and I was Sir Rick of the North.
Sarika of the Camarillo.
I was Sir Rick of the North. And so, but I never got my ring. This is the little bastards. They never sent me that ring I'm supposed to get. So anyway, but I was Sir Rick of the North, and we are Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable with the Lady Leslie. It was fun.
Okay.
All right, everyone,
That's a
have a
lot-
good one. See you guys later. And are you around tomorrow, Geoff?
Yes, I am, sir.
I will be in lockdown. I'll give you a call.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
See you next time, everyone.
Bye-bye. Okay. A couple things. Make sure. Yeah, I think maybe this weekend I'll come in.